This tutorial is for 3rd grade, Module 3, Lesson 2. In this lesson, we will use the unit form of numbers as well as the commutative property of multiplication to solve multiplication problems. In my first problem, I'm told that I have a unit, which is represented by the cube, and it has a value of 7. If I look at my picture, I have 5 of those units. So in unit form, we would show the picture as 5 sevens. And we're writing the unit form as a word. To figure out the total value of my tower, knowing that each cube is worth 7, I can use the multiplication problem 5 times 7, and with the commutative property, I know it's the same as 7 times 5, for a total of 35. 5 times 7 is 35, and therefore 7 times 5 is 35. We're going to use that information to help us solve the next problem. I have another tower. I still have my 5 original cubes, but I have one more added to the tower. This means that I have 6 units of 7 altogether. The 5 original 7s, and then one more unit that represents 7. To find the answer to this, I take my original answer, 35, which was 5 times 7, or 5 units of 7, and I add one more unit of 7, 35 plus 7, and that equals 42. That tells me that 6 sevens, or 6 times 7, equals 42. I can break the 6 sevens apart into the 2 portions, 5 sevens and 1 7, to come up with that final answer. Here I have a dot, and each dot has the value of 8. We can see that we have 5 dots altogether, and that's showing in unit form the value of 5 eighths. To find the final answer, I can think of the multiplication problem 5 times 8, which we studied in the last module, and using the commutative property, I can show that 5 times 8 is the same as 8 times 5. They both equal 40. We will use that information to help us solve the next problem. Here it says, use the fact above to find 8 times 6 and 6 times 8. Show your work using pictures, numbers, or words. Well, up above, we determined that 5 times 8 equals 40. So using this information, I know that I can take 5 times 8 and add that to 1 times 8, and that gives me the answer to 6 times 8. 5 times 8 and one more group of 8 would give me 6 times 8. Well, 5 times 8 is 40, plus one more group of 8 is 48. So 6 times 8 is also 48. If 6 times 8 equals 48, then using the commutative property, 8 times 6 also equals 48. Let's look at one more question. This one says, Mrs. Gonzalez buys 6 packs of crayons for her classroom. Each pack contains 7 crayons. How many crayons does Mrs. Gonzalez buy? And it's asking us to use a 5's fact to solve. The problem that we're really trying to solve here is 6 times 7. Since there are 6 packs and 7 in each pack. To use a 5 fact, I can look at 6 times 7 as 5 times 7 plus 1 times 7. Since 5 and 1 make 6, that will give me my 6 groups of 7. 5 times 7 equals 35. 1 times 7 equals 7. 35 plus 7 is 42. Therefore, 6 times 7 is 42. The final answer then is Mrs. Gonzalez bought 42 crayons. You can see how breaking the factors apart into 5's and another factor helps determine the final answer to some of these greater multiplication problems.